Have you ever heard the phrase, "There's always tomorrow"? What that generally means is, if today was not a good day for you, then tomorrow is a brand new day, and it could be better. We all have bad days in our lives, and sometimes those bad days can go on for a while. But bad days can turn into good days if you wait long enough, because there's always tomorrow and a chance to start over again. We could be having difficulty with our health or the health of a loved one, with our marriage, with our kids, with our parents, with friends, with our neighbor, with our job, with our finances, with our car, with the loss of a close loved one, and with so many things over the course of our lives. There is always something going on, and sometimes things can be very difficult in our lives. No one at any age is immune to having bad days, weeks, months, or even years, and needing hope for a new day that will be better. Hope is the cornerstone for life and for better things to come. We want to see the sun rise in the morning and shine down its warmth and make us feel good. Maybe we finally get that job we've been wanting, or we meet that special person we've been waiting for and then get married, or we have a newborn baby that we've been wanting for so long. There are so many good things that can happen if we have patience, hope, and wait for tomorrow. But one thing is for sure about the final tomorrow that will definitely come our way. It's in that day that our tomorrows in this life will stop permanently. What will that day be like, and what will happen to us? Have you ever thought about that? Having no more earthly tomorrows ever again? No more tomorrows here in this mortal life is commonly known as death in eternity. We all pretty much know what death is. It's when your earthly tomorrows are permanently over here in this life. But what is eternity? On the day you die, you will have an eternity somewhere. But where will that be, and will your eternity be good? Most of us enjoy living our lives and want to be alive. Although some people have such bad days, they sometimes wish they were not alive. We all have our ups and downs in this life, and that's normal. But given that you and I just have one mortal life to live, wouldn't we want as many good tomorrows as possible? That's what real hope will give us. Hope for better tomorrows. Human life can sometimes be a struggle, and it sometimes seems like we live in a human jungle where we compete with other humans. And many of those humans don't care about us. We can see daily how humans do not care about other humans by the killings, beatings, and wars that we see throughout the years between people and between countries. These events demonstrate how hard it can be for humans to live together and thrive in this world. In the real jungles and oceans of the world where wild animals and sea creatures roam, chances of that creature getting killed or maimed is extremely high, and those environments can be very unforgiving. Humans do live in a type of jungle, but certainly not in the same way as wild animals or fish do. So what's the point of all this? Are we just here today, and then when our tomorrows are gone, we just die, and that's it? Some people think so, and others are not sure what will actually happen to us when our eternity arrives. Many of us want to know if there is hope in this life for another, even better tomorrow, when this life is done. Some of us work hard to achieve success with our hopes and dreams before our lives are through. But what will be your tomorrow when your life is finally done? Will there be a better tomorrow for you once you are in the grave? If there can be a better tomorrow instead of an eternal dark pit, how do you get it? Maybe you believe there is some sort of God or all-powerful entity that has been looking down upon your life since you were born and keeping score on you and how much so-called good you've done and said in your life. Maybe you have hope that how you behaved in this life will get you past your grave into a better place when you are no longer here. Do you really believe that someone or something who has that power over you is keeping score on your life in every detail for every action and every thought you have had from the moment you were born until you die? If you do, then that's just your imagination. No one up there is doing that. No one is counting up your good deeds and weighing it against the bad or negative things you have done. We cannot possibly do enough good things to compensate for the bad or negative things we have done or thought about. When you examine your life closely, then you know it's true. In other words, do you think really there is some sort of natural force or God out there keeping score on each individual person out of the billions of people who are alive each generation, and then giving you points and/or keeping score so that you will be a winner or a loser? It is interesting to note that unlike the wild animals or pets, humans are the only species who think about such things. Many humans wonder if there is an all-powerful being greater than themselves. Our ability to wonder and think about such things puts us far ahead of any other species or life forms. So, do you ever wonder about that subject and what might come next after you die one day? It's a subject that most people do not openly talk about. A person's death is a difficult thing to discuss because it means the end of us being here in this life, being alive in these bodies. When the end does come for us, as it does for everyone, then what? Do you really have hope for another tomorrow when that happens? Is there hope for a better tomorrow that will move you and me into an eternity that will be a beautiful experience full of colors and light instead of us just turning into dust and darkness with no more existence? According to many people, humans have souls that live forever somewhere in eternity. I believe it would be a great thing to live forever if that were possible. But how would we know for sure where we are going once we die? And should we care? Is there real assurance and real hope for that to happen? Eternity is another word for forever. What does the word forever mean to you? And do you think you will be there somewhere in eternity? Do you have hope for another tomorrow that will be much better than occupying a dark, lonely pit forever or going to a bad place forever? Many people, especially atheists and also so-called agnostics, believe we should not be concerned about what comes next and if there will be another tomorrow. They just believe we should be happy that we are alive for this short mortal time and do the best we can, and then just disappear from time like we were never here. They believe that because we were not aware of our existence before we were born, that we should not be worried or concerned about our death and eternity after we die. They say we will just die when the time comes and should not worry about it because there is nothing we can do about it anyway. It will just happen and then that's it. They believe nothing more than death and non-existence somewhere is all we can expect and hope for, and that there will be no surprises once we die. What a sad thought. Besides that, they say we won't know that we are dead because we don't exist anymore, to realize we are dead and non-existent. Does that make sense? This is what they believe. It is a sad way to go, and it gives us no hope at all. They don't care to give you real hope. But to believe all of that actually takes enormous faith, because according to those people, we will have nothing more than eternal death and non-existence. But there is absolutely no proof that mortal death is all we will have. You may not be a religious person, but you still need to have faith that what you believe about death and eternity is true. A person's death seems to be final with regard to how it looks to us who remain alive and have never been dead before. But none of us personally knows what it is like, and we won't know until we are in the grave and no longer breathing. When we are dead and gone and finally leave this mortal earthly life, then we will experience the reality that is waiting for us. But what if that reality is continued darkness and loneliness in a dark pit without end? How would you feel about that? Doesn't it bother you to think about it? After we have died, what if we find out for sure that we do have a soul and that our soul is not only tangible, but it will exist and live in another place forever, such as heaven or hell or another place? Where will you be? What evidence is there now to show us the real truth of what will happen to us after we have died and are no longer here? Is there enough evidence for a singular truth and assurance that we can count on which will determine our eternal destiny and our place in it? Do you care? Should you care? Do you have assurance right now of what will happen to you when you die? When that day, hour, and final minute comes, will you just take your chances and hope for the best? Will you bet your eternity on just taking your chances for a better tomorrow after you die? What evidence do you have that you'll see beautiful colors again after this life is over? Do you want to see light and more beautiful colors again in your eternity to come? Or are you okay with being in eternal darkness with no light and no chance of having beautiful colors ever again? When you gaze into the sky and see the radiant light coming down on you, and see the beautiful clouds and see a beautiful sunrise so that you can experience another day here in this life, think about what it will be like never to see anything like that again. When you look out onto a beautiful ocean, a majestic mountain range, or a lush meadow of flowers, how does it make you feel to know that unless you find the one eternal truth now, while you are still alive, you will not get past a dark pit to come with no more colors and no more light. Once upon a time, not so long ago, these well-known celebrity people from America were alive on this earth and enjoying what this world could give them. Many of them thought they had it all, and they enjoyed it all. But then one day they were gone, forever. Perhaps they thought their lives would never end or did not care to really think about what comes next after their time on earth was over. If they were still alive today, they might say that it was good while it lasted. But that does not help them now in a dark pit of death. For them, their mortal tomorrows are over, permanently. How would you like to trade places with them now? Probably not. Is that how you want it to be for you? Thinking there's always tomorrow? There is not always tomorrow in this life. Time goes so fast and things can change so quickly. Just ask all those famous people who thought they had it all, but it was only for a relatively short time. All those people are now dead and buried or turned to dust and will eventually be forgotten. As the generations go by, all those famous people who were once alive will have faded away. No one will care about them any longer. Finally, did you know that you have something right now that none of those well-known deceased people possess? What you have now is life because you are still living and they are not. What would you rather have, life or death? You still have time to think about what comes next and look for the one and only truth that will save you from eternal darkness and give you assurance of more light and more colors to come your way. Do you care about where you will be for all of eternity? Does it matter to you? Or will you just keep going without thinking about it and then just take your chances on your eternity and lose all the beauty and colors that you experience now? If you want continued radiant light, more beautiful colors, and more love instead of permanent darkness and loneliness after you die, then you can have it. But there is only one way to get it. Did you know that? If you want to know where you can get the truth that will save you from eternal darkness before it's too late, then please ask me and find out how you can have a better tomorrow, forever.